If we were sat across from each other and I asked you, what's your marketing strategy? You might tell me what you're doing. I post on Instagram, I run ads, I send emails, I've built a funnel. But that's not what I'm asking. What I'm really asking is, what is all of that activity building towards? What are you trying to become known for? What kind of customer are you trying to attract more of? And what kind of business are you actually trying to build? If that part isn't clear, marketing doesn't just feel hard, it feels unstable. Hey, I'm Stephen. I simplify marketing so you can grow your business without overcomplicating things. And in this video, I want to properly clarify what a marketing strategy actually is in simple terms and why getting this right could change everything. You might recognize what I'm about to say. You post consistently for 3 months. You get some engagement, a few inquiries, some good conversations, but you're not sure. Are these the right people? Are they serious buyers? Is this the type of work I want more of? Is this actually going to grow my business, or is it just filling time? Marketing feels heavy when every week feels like a new decision. Should I pivot? Should I try this? Should I copy that? Should I change tone? Should I change my niche? When you don't have clarity, every idea feels equal, and that constant redeciding is exhausting. Now, over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact moment most small businesses accidentally weaken their own chances of success. It's subtle, but once you see it, you won't unsee it. A marketing strategy is simply this: a clear decision about who you want more of, what problem you want to be known for solving, and what kind of business you are building. It's not a document, it's not a diagram, it's the reason you're using the tools in the first place. If you can't explain why you're posting something beyond "so we can grow," that's usually where things start to feel fuzzy. A good strategy does 3 things. It filters, it protects, and it compounds. Now let's unpack those 3 together. Number 1, it filters. When your strategy is clear, it filters decisions. You don't ask, will this get views? You ask, does this attract the type of person I want more of? You don't ask, is this trending? You ask, does this strengthen what I want to be known for? Filtering removes noise, and noise is what drains our energy. Number 2, it protects. Strategy protects how people see you. Without it, your marketing drifts. You change tone, you change offer, you change audience. You chase what seems to work short term, and slowly people don't quite know what you stand for. That weakens trust, and weakened trust slows down sales. Number 3, it compounds. When your audience, your message, and your offer are aligned, something subtle happens. Each piece of marketing reinforces the last. Your posts connect, your emails connect, your offers connect. People understand you faster. Trust builds quicker. Without strategy, every piece of marketing starts from scratch, and with strategy, each piece contributes. That's compounding. Now here's the real tension. This isn't just a marketing issue, it's an identity issue. When you narrow your audience, you're saying, I'm not for everyone. When you choose one problem to be known for, you're accepting that other things won't define you. That's uncomfortable, especially if you're capable, especially if you can do lots of things, especially if you don't want to close doors. There's a fear that narrowing shrinks opportunity, but usually the opposite happens. When you don't narrow, you blur. And blurred positioning attracts hesitant buyers, and hesitant buyers compare more, question more, delay more, negotiate more. Clear positioning attracts decisive buyers. People buy faster when they feel understood. Clarity creates that feeling. Let me make this even more practical. If you don't decide clearly who you're for, you'll end up with a mix of inquiries, a mix of budgets, a mix of expectations. One week you're working with someone ambitious and decisive. Next week, you're chasing invoices or explaining basics to someone who was never really your target customer. That creates inconsistent income, inconsistent testimonials, inconsistent confidence. And then you think, I need better marketing, but often the marketing did what it was supposed to do. It just wasn't pointed clearly enough. And that's the difference. When I was in head of marketing roles, this wasn't theoretical. Teams would say, we need more leads. But the better question was always, more of which kind of customer? Because not every customer strengthens a business. Some are low margin, some are high friction, some pull you away from what you're trying to become. If you don't decide who you actually want more of, marketing can accidentally grow the wrong part of your business. That's why strategy matters. It protects what you're building, and that applies just as much to the side hustle as it does to a larger company. Let me bring this into my own world for a moment. When I started building Stephen Does Marketing, I had to make a real decision. There's a version of this channel that could have been very, very different. Faster, more reactive, more trend-led, more what's hot this week. And honestly, that version probably would have produced bigger spikes at times, but I had to ask myself something quite uncomfortable. Am I trying to grow quickly, or am I trying to build something stable? Because those are very different strategies. If I'd chosen speed, I would have chased trending topics. I would have pivoted more often. I would have leaned into whatever the algorithm seemed to reward that month. But I chose something else. I chose beginner first, search-led, foundational, and calm. That decision slows certain things down. It protects coherence. There have been moments where views have dipped and only been in the single figures, where other creators have been growing a lot faster, where it would have been very easy to think, maybe I should switch direction. Maybe this approach is too slow. Maybe I need to reinvent this. And that temptation is real, especially when you care so much about progress. But every time I feel that pull, I come back to 3 questions. Who am I here for? What do I want to be known for? And what kind of brand am I building over years, not weeks? Those answers don't change every month. And because they don't change, the content doesn't feel chaotic. That's strategy. It protects you from short-term insecurity, and that applies whether you're building a YouTube channel or a local business. And here's something most people don't say out loud. Constantly changing direction feels productive, feels like you're adapting, improving, optimizing. But sometimes it's just fear dressed up as strategy. Fear that if you commit, you might be wrong. Fear that if you narrow, you'll miss out. Fear that if you stop tweaking, growth will stall. That's the tension. Strategy requires commitment, and commitment feels exposed. So let me ask you this. If you had to choose today, one audience, one core problem, one type of customer you want more of, who would it be? Why don't you drop it in the comments, even if you're not 100% sure. Sometimes writing it down forces clarity. And if you can't choose one, that tells you exactly where the work is. Earlier, I said I'd show you the exact moment businesses weaken their chances of success. It's not when they post something bad, It's when they slightly adjust who they are every time something underperforms. And here's how you know if that's happening. If someone looked at your last 20 pieces of marketing, would they clearly understand who you're for? Would they clearly understand what you want to be known for? Would they see consistency in your tone and your offer? If not, what's happening is this. You're slightly adjusting every time something doesn't perform. You tweak, you pivot, you experiment, you react. And over time, the message fragments. That's the subtle weakening. Not bad marketing, just unstable positioning. So, how do you build a strategy? Well, you start here. First, decide who you want more of. Be specific about the stage of your customer, their budget, their ambition, their mindset. Second, decide what you want to be known for. Not everything you can do, but the thing you want your name attached to. And third, decide what kind of business you're building. Is it premium, high volume, local, online, authority-led? If you skip that third one, marketing feels random because the end goal isn't defined. And here's the key. These decisions don't change weekly. They shouldn't change monthly because they are your anchors. When strategy is working, marketing feels calmer. You say no more easily. You don't panic when trends shift. You don't overhaul everything after one quiet month. You can explain your business clearly, and when someone asks what you do, you don't ramble. That clarity radiates outward and people feel it. So I'll end the video with this. Imagine it's 18 months from now. Your business feels stronger. Income is more predictable. You're attracting the right type of client more consistently. People understand what you do quickly. That version of your business didn't happen because you posted more. It happened because you decided. You decided who you're for. You decided what you're building. You decided what you're not chasing. A marketing strategy isn't a clever plan. It's a commitment to build something specific and stick with it long enough for it to work. Once that commitment is made, marketing stops feeling like guessing. It starts feeling like building. And building feels different. It feels steady, it feels intentional, it feels lighter. You don't need more tactics, you need fewer doubts and clearer decisions. And once those decisions are stable, everything starts to connect. Now, if this has helped you think more clearly about your marketing, then why don't you just let me know in the comments or give this video a like. And if you're building something and want marketing to feel simpler, not heavier, then make sure you're subscribed to the channel for new videos every Monday and Thursday. And I'll see you in the next one.